Hello Star Wars unboxing fans, welcome to another episode of Darth Tuba's Star Wars unboxing show, Shelf Talk. Well, I had good intentions. I had actually prepared a special kind of shelf talk where I actually brought some items off the shelves and brought them into the studio and was going to kind of do a little more detailed version of them. And I recorded it, and just when I was getting ready to edit the video, the sound did not work. So there we go. It happens. It's okay. Glad I caught it early enough that I can make a reshoot of the video, which is what I'm about to do now. It's not going to have everything that was in there. It's going to have just a few items, but essentially there's a couple of things I'm going to show, and it's basically on what is this shelf right here. Okay, you know, this is shelf talk, so we focus on one shelf at a time. And as you can see, you know, there's lots of random things here. I'm going to kind of start with this baby right here, the Revenge of the Sith Ultimate Villain. So there you can see you got Anakin Skywalker. Sorry for the reflection there. But you'll see it's kind of two figures in one. You've got Anakin, obviously Revenge of the Sith is when Anakin Skywalker, spoiler alert, becomes Darth Vader. So they kind of created this nice, this is back when the Hasbro was still doing more of the fully articulated 12-inch figures. So they created an Anakin Skywalker figure that actually, you could say it's three figures in one. It's regular Anakin, it's extra crispy Anakin, you can put that face on him, and it's Darth Vader. So it's kind of a thing. I have never opened it. I don't know if I want to, only because I kind of like the way this is displayed. And you know, when I open it, now I have to put it together in one capacity or another. Then I have all the other stuff I'm not sure what to do with. So I'll probably just leave it alone like this. So that's one item. And then this is the other thing we were focusing greatly on in on the episode that did not work. And this is called the Masterpiece Editions. Okay, the Masterpiece Editions are essentially a series of book/action figures, and they are really cool, kind of cool shaped, very stylized. This has a Velcro bottom here, so I can flip it around and you can see. And again, I apologize for the thing, but you can see there's a book about Aura Singh, bounty hunter. Nice action figure of Aura Singh. Again, these are Hasbro action figures, which were at the time very good. We were so happy for them because the only 12-inch action figures we had were essentially the figures from 1978, and they weren't all that great. So Aura Singh, for those who don't know, was a very, 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 very basic blink and you miss it character from Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. It's happening during the pod race, and as you're watching the pod race scene, there's a scene with a bounty hunter like Aura Singh staring kind of down off a large mountaintop, looking down as an establishing shot as the pod racers are going past. That was it. Now she did find life in books, comics, and also in the Clone Wars TV series, where she actually took Boba Fett, young Boba Fett, under her wing and kind of trained him in the ruthlessness bounty hunter trade. Definitely not a nice person. And if you watched Solo, great movie by the way, if you haven't gone to see it, watch it, see it, rent it, stream it, do whatever. It's an awesome movie. And there's a line with Lando when he first meets Tobias Beckett and says, "You're Tobias Beckett. You killed Aura Singh." And Tobias says something like, "Well, pushed her, actually. I'm pretty sure it's the fall that killed her." So kind of a funny moment, but I mean, you know, deep Star Wars cut Star Wars fans will get that. Wow, Aura Singh, okay. So now we know how she met her demise. So the Masterpiece Edition, actually there were 3 items in the Masterpiece Edition. This is the 2001 was actually, I believe, the last of the 3. And then came, before that, the year before, was the C-3PO edition. And this was a little tricky. I have to be careful when I open this because C-3PO likes to pop out of this. As you can see, he's the 3PO from Empire Strikes Back with the netting, with the parts. And these books, and I will say that the books, folks, are obviously Disney acquisition, where they turned all novels and anything that wasn't the movies into legendary status. So not everything in here will be accurate to the canon. That is the story of 3PO. Obviously, this was written well before The Force Awakens and any of the adventures that came around there and around The Last Jedi and the upcoming Rise of Skywalker. So there you go. But it's really cool. And I've taken most of my figures in packages, the 12-inch, I've taken most of them out of the boxes. However, there are still a few that I leave in there. Actually, that's going to be an upcoming unboxing, though, with other figures, because I'm again, for space reasons, and just because I think it's kind of ready. We're ready to unbox them. These I'll keep because I like the box art. I like the look of it, and it also is a nice place to keep the book there as well. So we also have the first in the series, which was Anakin Skywalker. And again, this came out in 1998. So this is essentially well before the final drafts of what was going to happen with Anakin in Revenge of the Sith were to take place. I mean, I know George Lucas had a vague idea, a fight with Obi-Wan, allegedly to the death in a volcanic planet pit kind of thing. And all those details weren't really ironed out yet. So this is the figure, and you can see this is the Sebastian Shaw figure likeness from the end of Return of the Jedi, pre-special edition, or rather pre-special edition. And I like that. I like having some remnants of the original Vader. The way he's set up in this packaging, he kind of looks like a monk. It's a little bit odd, but it's just, the robe opens up and it's like a standard robe, and there's a book, again, kind of detailing the parts of Anakin Skywalker that we all know up until this point. But again, some of it was I should say, interpretive, and is now not considered canon fully, although a lot of the stuff in there is very familiar. So a couple of other items that we have in here in the shelf that are a little bit more unusual. I do want to point this one out. When episode 2 came out, they came out with this thing, and I think it was in Canada, and this was an actual cereal box. It was episode 2 cereal, okay? And you can actually see, open this up because I have opened this already. You can see in here that it actually included the cereal, for which I have actually already emptied it. I've mentioned this before, and I will mention it on episodes again. Do not collect food. Do not. I cannot stress enough to you. You can collect food boxes. You can let food product that is not going to be perishable, but food, cereals, most foods will eventually, even processed foods, will eventually turn to dust, and then ants get in and other animals, and it will ruin not only your the piece of collection you're trying to save, but other collections as well. But I always liked cereal boxes. I always thought that was really cool. And most of my cereal boxes I actually flatten. I don't know, if I ever have an intention of opening them up again and stacking them somewhere. Maybe I will, I'm not sure. But for now, for storage purposes, stacking them is easier. But this whole box was kind of part of it. And you got a very flimsy but cool looking Clone Wars action figure kind of thing, and it's like basically Velcro, so it's Velcroed on either side. I'll put this together real quick until there we go. And the thing I liked about this, what do you think? The thing I liked about the Clone Wars helmets is that, for those who don't realize this, in the Clone Wars movies, the episode 2 and episode 3, there's not a single actual real clone trooper. Everything is done on CGI. So that when you see all those soldiers running around, they're actually pretty cool effects, but when you see them running around, not real. All computer generated. And they might have built some designs that they would have used for models and whatnot, but when you see anybody running around, not a single one. The entire thing, all the clone troopers in episode 2, all the clone troopers in episode 3 were digital. So, and I like that. I think it's cool, but I kind of liked having a representation of the actual clone helmet, even if it is a flimsy kind of styrene plastic thing. But it was cool, and it came in this nice, what a cool thing. I believe this is based out of Canada. I don't think this is available in this country, so I had to order this through eBay, but kind of cool. All right, so a few more items here. We have my... This is just a unique, weird item. It is a Darth Vader action model. I'm not going to open this up. It is a model, okay, a plastic model. It is essentially a bust of Darth Vader that is a snap-together model. and it is a model that you would use. You could actually wire it up so it would actually, I think the eyes would glow, and that there was this little like rotating kind of thing in it that would make a breathing sound. And the breathing sound was not a breathing sound. It just sounded like something back in the 70s that was a distant cousin of somebody that lived in the same zip code, or the next zip code over of a breathing sound. It was very distant. But at the time, we were happy with any kind of sound, so that was cool. I did try putting it together once. I'm not a model maker. It was a little bit complex, so some of it worked, some of it didn't, but I was happy that as a snap together, I could actually snap it apart. So I like the box. I didn't want to get rid of the box. As I said, I do a lot of unboxings, but sometimes, particularly with vintage, I do like to keep the boxes around. All right, so what we've got here. These are, and I apologize for the dust on some of these. We got a couple of ships here. We got the X-Wing Fighter, and I believe this is meant to be the one in the swamp. There's a little R2-D2 in the back there. Okay, and this is one of the, trying to see if I have, they came out, just bear with me. No, I want to take it out, but I'll show you a kind of a, let me bring my camera around to it. It might be easier if I do that, sorry. There is an X-Wing Fighter right there. That's an X-Wing Fighter that they built that was definitely more based on the models that they were used for the movie. And those models were so much cooler than what we got as kids. Although, you know, we're always nostalgic. You know, we're always nostalgic for the original X-Wing toy Kenner model. But this is obviously a lot bigger, and the wings in this case, of the way the box was stored, it was obviously not placed. You know, the wings are separated, and you would just take them apart. They're probably stored underneath here, and you would take them apart and do it. I kind of like the way this box is displayed. I have a couple of these X-Wings. There's just not a lot of room to store them. I mean, like this is an example of the X-Wing from you know, from like the Return of the Jedi 80s. You can see how much smaller it is. You know, but when you put them together, you can see this one is a lot smaller than this one. All right, this was definitely more accurate to the things, to the size of them in the models. So, and speaking of which, there's another one right there, but I'll come back to that one. Actually, no, I won't come back to that one. I'm going to take that out right now, because I'm going to put it back right there when I'm done. I apologize for the dust on this, and you know, this is definitely one I got to do. Got to do some spring cleaning or fall cleaning here. But you can see, this is a full-out version of it. Okay. Yeah, you know, this is like, and they did some variant on it by giving it the, you know, coating of swamp material. There's a swamp monster in there. Looks like kind of like a Dianoga. There's a Luke Skywalker action figure, and I don't think there's an R2. So this one came out in 2006. Okay, so I don't remember if this other one is an earlier, I think it might be an earlier rendition. This one came out in 2002. So it's interesting that they had a more compact version, and then they came out with that. I do believe they're essentially the same mold, the same vehicle, which, you know, that's fine. It's okay if it is. So I'll probably end up unboxing one of those. And then lastly in this series, we have the Dagger Squadron B-Wing Fighter. Dagger Squadron. This is a Toys R Us exclusive. I was a little bit attached to the Toys R Us exclusive boxes because there's no more Toys R Us, although I do hear it's making a comeback. And this one came out in, give me a year. Doesn't want to give me, 2008. Let's see. Has a little thing it says, in the story Small Victories from the Star Wars Rebellion comic series, Rebel Alliance B-Wing starfighters take on an Imperial fleet while trying to rescue Luke, Leia, and the crew of the Rebel One for an Imperial refueling station. Rebel officer Lieutenant Pollard leads the fledgling Dagger Squadron on their very first mission that's full of daring and danger. B-Wings pack a powerful punch in battle. These heavy assault fighter bombers are armed with cannons and torpedoes, and a rotating cockpit enables pilots to execute advanced attack maneuvers. Wow, that is like the longest lead-in for something on a box that I think I've ever read. And obviously it's from a comic book, so the paint scheme is not the same as the original B-Wing from the movies. But I like variants like that. I think variants like that are fun. I think that they allow us a little bit of time, imagination, and also might get us, that now that having read that, I might seriously take a stroll down memory lane and check out one of those comics and see if I can read that story a little bit. So I think that'll do it. That's basically all the stuff. There was like one other thing that I had in the episode. I wasn't able to do it. I will get it. I will show it to you guys eventually. Do not worry. It's actually right there. I don't know if anybody can pick out what that is. It's actually a racetrack. It's a racetrack, meaning slot car racing. So you will, I'll get that out. Maybe I was meant to put that together and try to do a full out episode where it's running. As I mentioned, well, you don't know this because I didn't release it, but in that episode I did say that when I last tried it, it was not working. A lot of these things were not meant to last. So I don't know if I'll do that, or I might go on to something else. So thank you for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, leave comments. Leave a comment in terms of, like, we talked about cereal this week. Do you have a favorite Star Wars cereal tie-in or brand? I mean, I know a lot of people are fond of the C-3PO's cereal. I do wish they'd bring that back for nostalgic purposes, even if it was just for like a one-time thing or something you can order online. Maybe they will. Who knows? But if you have anything else you want me to consider unboxing or doing anything, we had some requests for talk about some more vintage items, which we will do on the next Shelf Talk or upcoming Shelf Talk. And again, I got a few items coming in the mail soon. I'm looking forward to getting them unboxed. There's one big item coming that I'm real excited about. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, may the Force be with you.